start looking young. I think you're getting old when you suddenly realise that if you add up the ages of the first three place getters in this year's Victorian Formula Ford Fiesta Cup Championship, they're still younger than you are. Certainly that's helped by the fact that our next guest is only about 15 years old. It's incredible. He's also another one of these third generation racers. His grandfather is one of the legends of Australian Speedway racing. That's Gary Rush. His name is Josh Hunter and he joins us all the way from Sydney today. Josh, welcome to Inpitlane.
Thanks, Brett. Good to be here.
Now, I suppose with the background, with the family background, were you always going to be a racing driver?
Well, my dad's been a soccer player, so it's all different to me, I suppose.
I think in terms of making money, I think the soccer player is probably a better choice, to be honest with you.
Well, it depends on the adrenaline, you know. Soccer is a great sport, but racing, you know, the adrenaline, the speed, it's just better than soccer, I reckon.
So tell us a bit about your background in the sport. I mean, in terms of, you obviously started in karting. What did you do in karting? What championships did you win there?
I won a couple of state championships in karting, so just progressing through the classes, I suppose, and you know, it was always the plan to go along and progress through the classes and I suppose go to the Formula Ford and jump in a real race car.
So how long have you been behind the wheel of a Formula Ford?
I started this year, so it's just basically been a big learning curve and just learning all the basics about racing the car and the basics, I suppose. Yeah.
When you say the basics, I mean it makes it all the more impressive. The fact that you've only had a handful of races and you're currently leading this year. Now it's only we should say that unfortunately it is only a 4-race championship for the CAMS title, but still nonetheless, I mean you're out there in contention for a major championship in your first year of racing.
Yeah, well, that was the plan to start racing the Formula Ford, and we didn't expect to be this high up, but we're under the radar of a great team and it's going really well, and there's a lot of high caliber drivers out there, so to be leading the championship I'm really happy with that. But we've got still one more round to go, just not put our feet up yet and keep pressing on.
So does this change things? I mean, the fact that you're currently doing so well and as you say you are ahead of schedule, does this change the plans for the future, or does it really not matter whether you win this week regardless? Will you just go on with the plans as you originally intended?
Well, we've planned to do the national championship in Formula Ford next year with Sonic, so that will be another step up. But I've got a great team and have all the faith in them, and it should be a good step to race against new guys and new racetracks and race behind the V8, so it'll be more pressure, and I think it'll be a good experience for my racing career and see what that leads on to.
The remarkable thing is, of course, as I said, you've come down from Sydney, you're a New South Wales boy, and you can't actually race in New South Wales, I believe.
That's the disappointment, I suppose, the travelling, but we do what we have to do. The main competition is up here. The Victorian Series offers a very competitive competition, so I think if that's what we need to do, then that's what we'll do.
Well, we mentioned last week, we had Luke Ellery on the program last week, and we went through it's a who's who of Australian motor racing, people who have won the various Formula Ford championships here in Victoria, so it is a very high standard. One thing we spoke about with Luke last week, and he had some opinions on, was the last round in particular at Sandon. There was a lot of criticism of you guys, the Formula Ford guys, in terms of the number of laps lost behind safety cars because of a bit of impetuous action. Now it looks like you're going to be sort of read the riot act this weekend. I mean, what do you think about the standard at the moment? Luke was sort of the opinion. Well, he said perhaps some of you guys are coming on a little too quickly. Yeah,
there's a true fact to that. Some young guys haven't been in a lot of cars, so it's a whole different thing compared to karting, and you need to go through the right steps before you jump in a car. A lot of horsepower and a lot of damage can be done. So. Yeah, young people, I think that's a good thing to get them in early, have a good background to race a real car, once you get to the bigger game. So I think starting early can be a good thing, but a bad thing. So
what's your long-term ambition? I mean, are you looking towards V8 supercars, or are you perhaps looking more overseas?
If I can race for a living, I'll do that, but that's what I love doing. And if my plans are to go to America, we've got very good contacts with a couple of NASCAR drivers and sprint car drivers, so if we can head over there, we can do that. But if not, we'll give it a shot.
Well, one of your contacts we mentioned earlier in there, Tony Stewart, raced earlier in the year in one of your family's sprint cars. You've met these guys. What sort of impression do they leave on you?
Well, believe it or not, they're just normal people, you know. To see them behind the media and the behind the helmet, so other than that, they're just real normal people. Tony's a very nice guy, and he will come back this Christmas, and it'll be good to chat with him and, you know, see what he's doing.
Well, it's going to be a big weekend for you, no doubt, and it'll be a fantastic race out at Phillip Island. I believe, thankfully, it looks like the weather's going to fine up a bit, so you won't have too many problems to contend with. But best of luck for the weekend, and best of luck to your competitors as well, to Cameron and to Matthew. But for now, Josh Hunter, thanks for joining us in Pit Lane.
Thanks, Brett. It's been a pleasure.
And thank you to you at home for joining us once again. Now, coming up next week on the program, a lot of talk about what's happening out at Calder Park. Well, let me tell you, at Calder Park, it's sort of a rumour generator, Calder Park. Well, next week on the program, Ian MacArthur, who's the General Manager of Calder Park Raceway, is going to join us live in the studio to let us know exactly what is happening. As I said, there's talk about new events, race meetings, improvements, government money being spent, you name it. So that's next week on the program. Ian MacArthur joining us. Once again, thank you. If you want to contact us, remember the email address is theshow@inpitlane.com. Also remember the Inpitlane YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/Inpitlane, where you can see a story about Tony Stewart, for instance. Was certainly one of our more popular stories from last year as well. I'm getting a major stretch now for some apparent reason, so we are just about out of time. Thanks for joining us once again. Now, as we said also, thank you to and congratulations to our winner of the All Seasons Eco Resort competition down at Phillip Island. We will be in touch, Robin, with you a little bit later on.